So before I forget, so when will we get the special meal with the Houston level?
Never.
Actually, yeah, I met him in Providence. I think it was 2009 or 10.
Yeah, that's 2009.
Yeah. So I was practicing there. I was a head Dharma teacher, which is head monk there. And Sanim, he just closed his talk with the beginner's mind. And that actually just reminded me of what he looked like at the time. He was nervous, and his mind was really genuine, sincere. So it's not actually, he was not exaggerating that when he was sitting next to me, he was nervous. I could feel. And he had this kind of very pure approach that then I could see that how sincere he was about what he was going to do for practice. Well, we all change as time goes by. Maybe this beginner's mind can fade away in worst case, and or maybe a little decreasing. But as he just reminded us that it is important that we try to get back to the moment when we decide to practice, because that is beginner's mind, and it's all about that. I think, just looking back my own practice also, when I feel like, oh, I'm doing this because this and that, and that moment is because my beginner's mind is back in that moment. So there is only one difference between this enlightened being, in a way, a little extreme way to say, that there is only difference between enlightened being and the sentient beings, that you can tell the enlightened being or the masters are still keeping beginner's mind. It's not about how gratefully they behave or correct. Well, you can say such a way too, but because he just brought it up, and I totally agree with that, how important it is, especially for Zen practitioners, having this beginner's mind is crucial. It's all about your practice. So anyway, when I met Sunim, at that time he was a lay person, and then I saw how pure his motivation was at the time. And then he was a lay person, but he was all the way, I don't know, maybe he has also a little Korean background. He was always putting his hands on his danjeon whenever he asked me some question. Where is the toilet? It was like anyway, that just bring me a lot of memories at the time that he then, after 2 weeks retreat, maybe he was so happy to see, because he was rare to see Korean people there. And he saw me there and even giving instruction with my poor English to American people. And then he invited me to Washington, D.C. for 3 days. It was really fun that I used to feel kind of a little isolated. Back then, these internet things were, actually it was okay, but there was no such, often chance for me to travel. But then he invited me and then took me around Washington, D.C. area. It was the first time for me to see all these historical sites in America, like White House. But probably the best part was we went to Korean Jimjilbang. It was totally unexpected. After all this, tourist and historical site, and he suggests me if I want to go. And what, do you have a Jimjilbang in America, in Washington, D.C.? And then it was probably one of the biggest where I have been, right? The Jimjilbang, and we had like a kum ramen, and we had hot baths, and it was really good time. And then he became a monk. As I just said. Yeah, this beginner's mind. It's if you really take care of that. Well, we are very careful to use this word guarantee, but actually, it's guaranteed if you are able to keep your beginner's mind, because it's all about that. But we don't mean that actually you have to be so tight to, I mean, mentally or physically to keep it. It doesn't mean that, but you remember why you started practicing. And Sinim shared, oh, well, actually, his case, he said he was not a Buddhist. He had no idea about Buddhism. He even teased this friend who tried to introduce Buddhism to himself. And we have different, probably, reason or some kind of time that you have decided to practicing and or even become a monastic. But it's not accident, right? It's not an accident, I think. I had a similar experience. So how does the beginner's mind become great? Actually, I wanted to share this some experience recently. I took a walk down the road a few weeks ago, and then you probably saw the farmers planted this rice in the field. And in Korea, before they planted the rice, the baby rice, the plant, they usually first collect the water in the field. Actually filled with the water about ankle height, because they need a lot of water when they are just start growing. And then nowadays, like people use some special car or machines to do that. But when I took, still here, I think you can see the rice fields are quite small, and the farmers they own just some piece of land. It's not like an industrial business, this area. So when I walked down, there was an old lady from village. You can tell maybe she's in her 70s, and her back is a little already bent, and it's tiny. It looks so weak. But then she was working by herself alone there, building this low dam, so that she can keep the reserved water in the field. And she was like using the shovel and some wet soil, small stones, and dry straw. And it looked to be so immature. And I thought, oh, would it work? And this tiny old lady, Bosalim, is working just by herself using this one shovel, And she was keep doing it, piling up this wet soil, collecting some stones. I watched it for about a few minutes just from distance. And then anyway, I came back to temple. I forgot about that. Then a few weeks later, I just took a walk down the road. And when I reached that point, I just remembered what she was doing. And then I looked at the dam. It was so beautifully done, because looked so neat, and you can see like small stones just under this wet soil with this dry straw. I was quite impressed because it looked to be quite difficult job, and unless you have some good skill, it must be very difficult. And then I just imagined how many years she must have been doing it, so that she's so skillful. She knows exactly what to do, where to put these stones, where to put this dry straw, soil. Because if you don't know how to do even some small part, it's very easy, the water will just leak out of the field. But she was doing so carefully, and then after a few weeks, I saw how well done the dam the old lady was making. Just want to compare to our practice. If she didn't have this beginner's mind, and because she does it probably every year, like we do 결제 every time, twice a year, and it's not difficult for us to lose the beginner's mind because every day is just looks like another day, and how you take care of this beginner's mind, and then get skillful with that, how to use it each moment. That's how actually this beginner's mind work in our job or relationship with the people, or how to go through this 3 months long 결제. It's not easy, especially if it's the first time for you, or if you have said already more than 10 times, it's very difficult in my experience. Or if you are doing it second time, third time, it's a little better. But it's the first time, or if you have done it more than 5 years or 10 years, it can be very difficult. Because it's easy for you to lose beginner's mind. So that's what we are doing here. Take care of your beginner's mind. Beginner's mind can be also turned into the word don't know. Each moment, don't know. That's your beginner's mind. So that's what we are trying here. So is there any question?
Actually, I didn't thought that I would never ask a question in this kind of state because it's in English and it sounds stupid. So
Me too.
I think this is the reason I'm here. So I just have a question.
Sure.
Ask.
Yeah.
So I read some of Musangsa talks, and he speak a lot about like reborn as a cat or as a dog or as a human or something like that. And even he wrote that like this is the reason that in our language we call someone a donkey or I don't know something like this, and also like that sometimes we kill an animal and then it's reborn as a human and revenge. And so first thing I thought, what the difference between like this reborn to heaven and hell? Like they're all just ideas. Don't I just not supposed to don't know?
What's the difference? Your question was what's...
My question is like I don't suppose just to don't know. Like he's saying that there is like a circle of life, like you were reborn, and I just ask how like this is knowing. I don't suppose to don't know.
Yeah. This when we talk about don't know here in Zen practice. Don't know, especially in Zen practice, it's not the conception of like don't know, which is the opposite of I know. Okay? Yeah, like you are asking, should we know or understand this principle of reverse, which means actually cause and effect, those things. But in Zen, especially Zen Musangsa also emphasizing on this don't know also. So they can kind of a little contradict kind of conception, right? So, but knowing about, understanding about this cause and effect, for example, I hit him, ouch. If I didn't hit, oh, thank you. Your good reaction. If I didn't hit him, he never feel that, right? Which means I hit, this is cause. He said, ouch, pain, that's result. Which means everything is actually based on cause and effect. Cat, dog, human, and even among the human, you are from Israel, Israeli, I'm Korean. male body, female body. Someone become monastic at some point in their life. Someone just stay as a lay person. So all these things, because there's a cause, so that this result appear. That's cause and effect. And based on the principle, which is not avoidable, someone becomes cat in their next life. Someone becomes dog in their next life. Someone becomes still human, but maybe become American, maybe woman, don't know. So that's about, you are asking, we know about cause and effect, we understand. But then why he always say don't know? So this don't know doesn't mean that actually it's not the conception, the opposite meaning of I know. It's just dualistic ideas when you say I know, I don't know. But in Zen practice, return to this point, don't know. At this point, there's no such like know or don't know. It's absolute. There's no opposite ideas. There's even no I, no subject, no object. So there's nothing that you can know or don't know. Okay? So when in Zen practice, like keep don't know, keep beginner's mind, that means return to absolute. Return to zero, primary point. That is your true nature, original nature. And then everything becomes clear if you actually keep don't know. Whatever you see, whatever you hear at this moment. That means actually you can perceive everything just as it is, truth. And depending on how clear you are, you can become cat, you can become dog. I mean, even before you die, you can behave like a cat or a dog. There are many people actually behave like animals, kill people, right? Zen Musangsa used to say that they go on the street. There are many people, but they have human looking, but their consciousness are animals. So depending on how clear you are, even before you die, you may become like a cat or a dog. So that's why this don't know is very important. But this don't know is just a name for our true substance or nature. There are many names for our true nature. Buddha nature, like energy, or true self. There are many names for that. But I don't know how he started using. Maybe you can ask someone like Debong Sinim, because he's a student earlier time, that how he started using this don't know for our true nature. Probably earlier time, his students really could connect with the word. But I seem to really also understand why. Because if I ask you something like, who are you? Where are you? Or maybe you now have some answer because you learned something here. But before that, you probably remember, we completely get stuck. Don't know. It's not just like about understanding or not understanding. You truly don't know. So perhaps he started using the word don't know, maybe. And I could connect it too. Sinim shared how he became a monk. And when I was studying in university, I didn't know why I'm studying there. I know because I want to get success in the future, but I truly didn't know why I have to do, because we all will die sooner or later. Why do we struggle? And then this word, understanding cannot help you. That really hit my mind. So that's a truly don't know. Right? And that can be also, you can use the word beginner's mind. If you are able to this don't know or beginner's mind, your practice, don't worry about enlightenment. You are already on the path. Many people concerned with enlightenment or breakthrough or some kind of next level. Rather than that, oh, do I have still beginner's mind? Do I have still this don't know? Do I just return to this don't know? That will really open up your path. Okay? So I hope that helps you. Any other question? 네.
Is the purpose of keeping the beginner's mind to have to be able to teach later on in practice? Is that the reason for keeping it?
You can do many things if you keep don't know. Well, you said that teaching, but that also can mean to help others, right? But the true don't know is not thinking about anything. Then that naturally helps. Of course, our direction, we in the morning and at the end of our sitting in the night, we always recite these 4 great vows, right? That's our ultimate direction. So helping all beings, like cutting my all these delusions. Yeah. So if you can tell that the purpose of this keeping don't know. You said to teach maybe in the future, which means to help others. Yeah, that is true. But our practice, when you practice that, you even don't think about it. Okay? The 2 times a day is enough. If you are very sincere, you don't need to keep reminding you, I keep don't know to teach people, or I keep don't know to help others. You don't need that, but you understand what I mean, right? But sometimes we compare to this a GPS in the car. When you drive, you want to go to Seoul station from Musangsa, then you type in Seoul station, right? You don't need to keep typing on the way, right? You just one time is enough. Our direction is Seoul station, and you drive, and what's next? It's very important to be clear, moment to moment, hear what the GPS says, and okay, make a right turn. If you are thinking something else, like I keep my donor to teach people in the future, then you may make just a right turn. That's not what you want, right? So typing one direction is enough. But what we have to do moment to moment is do it with this donor. Then you can hear clearly, right turn, left turn, U-turn, right? So that's what we do every day. Keep following schedule. If something hit should be, then don't think about it. You just stand up. Everybody stand up. It's time to go to chanting. You don't need to think. Yeah, your body may think differently, but your beginner's mind is much stronger. If you have it, you can go. And it's a time to work. Yeah, it's a time to work. Just moment to moment. Be clear. That means you don't know, your beginner's mind is alive in each moment. And then the big direction, like a soul station, which is for our 4 great vow, you can make it. So the point is you have to be always clear, don't know, and beginner's mind each moment. So I hope you will make it, okay? Any other question? So then have a good retreat. As the Sinim said, this is not a easy chance for many people outside the world, even to realize how important it is. If you see what's going on in the world, as you know well, as you said, as Sinim said, how lucky you are. You came here to find out, investigate, and we learn from each other. We have some guidance. You have wonderful Dharma friends, sometimes a little annoying, but for most of the time, you know how to appreciate those kind of circumstances we have here. So I hope everyone have good culture.